when she was born, they laid her on top of me, and it was like for connection. I was like, anything you really have to do, honestly, because my biggest fear, again, I hated myself for having depression. I hated myself for feeling depressed. I hated myself for not being able to overcome depression. I hated myself for affecting her. I hated myself for putting her at risk because of depression. And I was like, anything you have to do, because I really didn't want to know that she was like, something was wrong. And luckily my daughter was born healthy, 7 pounds 8 ounces, 22 inches at 7:50 p.m. 24 hours to have that chunky butt. And I was at 37 weeks induced. If you've seen my previous video, I was induced. Anyway, so that was just antepartum depression, and you'd think that I would get there like that. I mean, you would think that it would just stop there, but it didn't. It did not just stop there for me. So just for the first part, I want to tell you moms that are pregnant, if you are feeling, there's a difference between just crying because you're sad about something and crying because you feel worthless, because you are constantly afraid and anxious about what's going to happen next, and anything that anyone tells you just doesn't seem to work. And then thoughts of just not enjoying your pregnancy, of like hating yourself, just thoughts that are not you. Seek assistance. Seek support. I don't want to say seek help, because you're not someone who is, I don't know how to explain it, because when I say seek help, I'm like, hey, you're mental, like go get help. More like seek support, seek a voice, seek an ear, someone to talk to, someone to be there for you, someone to allow you to talk about what's going on and give you the assistance that you need and the support. Because trust me, it is very real. On to after birth. Again, I did not believe I was pregnant. I was disassociated from my pregnancy. I didn't accept that I was pregnant the whole 9 months. I would act like it. But anyway, when she was born and I was holding her, to me it was more like, I just want to make sure she's okay. I wasn't really interested in the fact of building a bond, of breastfeeding. Oh my gosh, my baby and me are going to share moments. Oh my goodness. I wasn't seeking that. I was more like just thinking of her as another human that needed to be protected from me, because I was a mess. And I was just a monster that gave birth to this beautiful baby girl. So I did what I had to do, and then I was like, you know what, I don't feel depressed, things are better, I'm great. And then I realized that something wasn't right. I wasn't emotional. I wasn't feeling connected to her. I wasn't wanting to be with her, not wanting to be with her. I didn't crave her attention or her cries. I didn't fall in love at her first smile. I was like, I'm not crying and feeling lonely, but something's not right. So I realized I had also postpartum psychosis, just slightly, because I had a feeling that I just had to put her down, like in the restroom floor, and just cry. Like I wanted to actually just abandon my baby in a room and just cry. And I was like, that's not right. That thought wasn't right. So I would zone out a lot. I was realizing that. And I just felt disassociated. Like my daughter was physically here with me, guys. Like she was physically in my arms, breastfeeding, singing to her, kissing her. And I still did not believe she was my daughter. I still did not believe I was pregnant and I gave birth to this baby girl. And like I said, I was disconnected. That was a huge part of my depression, feeling disassociated. And I don't even think I took a picture with my daughter until she was about almost 2 months. Like some people are like, oh my god, it's my baby. And I'm just like, wow. Like, and even taking a selfie, I would look and be like, that's not me. That's someone else. Also through my pregnancy and after, I felt like someone else was taking care of my daughter for me. And I found out through counseling that I had developed dissociative identity disorder, because someone else would literally shift in me to care for my daughter, and then another shift would happen where I felt it was just weird. It was just odd. And my counselor was like, it's due to stress, where you feel like someone else is taking over. And it happened, and I would zone out. My husband witnessed it. I would zone out, just not even know who he was or who my baby was. And I would just sometimes just let my daughter cry. Like, I would just be like, oh well, I don't care. And that was bad. That was really bad. I stopped going to counseling. I didn't seek psych. It was all, dang it, I feel this way, and I'm stuck being a mother, and I'm stuck being in a family. I would cry to my husband, and I was like, I need to look into this. And I already knew, having antepartum before being pregnant depression and antepartum depression, you're 100% sure you're gonna have postpartum depression. Like, only a miracle could save me at that point. So I believe when she was 3 months, I sought help. I told my counselor, and like, I was already seeing her. That's when she was like, hey, you have DID. So 3 months, and just recently, and a lot of people don't know this, but just recently, I was referred to psych because I was getting irritated. I was still feeling disassociated. I was still feeling disconnected. I was still feeling upset. I would get depressed. I would not want to take care of her. I would zone out. And I was like, this isn't okay. How long can I came to a point where I was accepting that how I felt was how I was going to feel, and there was no such thing as getting better. I didn't feel like I deserved to get better, and that's another thing about depression, and it will tell you that you don't deserve to get better. So I was like, I need to take medicine. This isn't healthy. She needs a healthy mother. And I felt shame. When it comes to antepartum, postpartum depression, a lot of us women feel shame because there's people gonna be like, well, I loved my baby. I don't know how you can never, like, you just know, you're like, whoa, like, someone's gonna think wrong of me because I didn't want to take care of my kid, or someone's gonna think wrong of me because I was upset when she was born, or this and this and that, and it's a lot of shame. But I'm glad I sought help, and I'm getting help, and I'm currently on an antidepressant that is honestly one of the strongest antidepressants, and I don't feel like I'm out of whack. I'm more like in zone, because I would tell them, I would feel like this is middle ground, this is the foundation where I'm not at, and I'm over here. I don't feel in sync, I don't feel there, and I would meditate, pray, and eventually I was like, I need to take medicine, because when I found out I was pregnant, I had to stop taking medication, and that was the first time in 3 years that I stopped suddenly. Like, to stop suddenly, that probably took part in it. But I see if it continued afterwards, and right now I do have my days. I'm not gonna tell you I didn't have my days, but I do have my days. I still do have my days where I just zone out, I log out, I check out, I cry, I get depressed, I don't want to live, I don't want to be with her, I don't want to be with him. But I know, I always tell myself, it's not me. This isn't me. And until I find me, I will keep fighting this, you know? Because I know me is there. I know me right now, this is me. And then depression hits. So I'm telling you, like, plenty of women commit suicide when they're pregnant. Plenty of women feel like they need to commit suicide when they're pregnant. Many women after birth commit suicide or end up hurting their babies. That leads to death, or hurting someone else. Usually it's either them or the baby themselves, or both. So if you feel an ounce of, I don't feel like myself, something's not right, seek support. Seek a voice. Seek an ear. Do not do this alone. You are not a bad mother because of something like mental illness, happened to just happen. You are not a bad mother for seeking to get better. You are an amazing mother. We are amazing mothers because we got the strength to admit that we were not okay. So honestly, people could judge me for being a bad mom because of this and all that. But I know I'm fighting every day. And I know many moms are fighting every day. Antepartum and postpartum depression are very real. And it's very important for us to know the signs and take research into it. If you and your loved one are expecting a baby, please research antepartum and postpartum depression, because the last thing you want and need is for someone to no longer be living, or for both to not be living. Unfortunately, that is the sad truth when it comes to antepartum and postpartum depression. So we really need to raise awareness. It's not only fairy tales and rainbows and butterflies. So please stop brushing off women when they feel sad or the baby blues. No, help them. Be there for them. Assist, be an ear. Because honestly, it's something serious. And a lot of doctors, clinics, all that stuff need to get serious. So my OBGYN doctor, she was like, Genesis, you have no other choice. Right after you give birth, book to see counseling. And I was like, whoa. But I know she did it for a good reason. And I knew I could have just said no, but she was so serious because she knew I had to be good for myself and my baby and my family. So don't brush it off. Talk. Speak up. And I'd be really disappointed if I hear after this video that people have taken children away from moms because they're not okay, because they admit that they need help. But definitely, yeah. My name is Genesis, and this is my antepartum and postpartum depression story.